Hello and welcome to round 15, Sochi, the Autodrome in Russia. Right, let's start the race. It's going to be I don't know if it's going to be a 4-wet race, if it's going to be intermediate, dry, I haven't got a clue. Let's have a look and let's see how the race goes. Yep, can't believe it's Friday, but weekend's nearly here.
Welcome along then to Sochi and the Russian Grand Prix, one of 8 cities in the world to play host to both the Olympics and a Formula One race. It's a Grand Prix that's proven difficult to crack for anyone beyond the first 2 rows of the grid in recent years, so let's see if that can change today. Well, it's certainly not the best weather out on the Sochi street circuit today, a track that boasts 18 corners, 12 to the right and 6 to the left. And it's a track that combines both fast corners and long straights, resulting in speeds of excess of 200 miles an hour. But with these conditions, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a safety car out there today. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Lee. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances, but what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another great race today.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lee lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Norris, Sainz, Gasly, Verstappen, and Fernando Alonso, Tsunoda, Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen, and Ocon, Stroll, Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Giuliano Alesi, Mick Schumacher, Ricciardo. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, Latifi, and Nikita Mazepin. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right, what's the strategy going to say? Oh, it's going to be wet all the way through. Heavy rain to light rain. How does that one work? Well, I'm gonna. No, not do that. That's what I want to. That's what I want to do. I lost myself then for a second. Since it's wet, I am going to be underfueling my car by a lap. Yeah, by a lap and a half. That's okay. Right, let's start the race. Well, the formation lap, I should say, before the race. Here we go. Gosh. The wheel spins.
Okay, how was the pull away? You'll have a bit more grip than that on the start, but we need to warm the tyres properly now. Make sure you get some heat into the brakes as well.
Yeah, talking about the grip, then I wheel spin and nearly hit the wall from the wheel spin. But yeah, that's actually quite treacherous. I don't quite know how this is intermediate conditions at full wets at the beginning. I'm unsure. I am really unsure how this is going to pan out for the first probably 5 to 6 laps before it gets a bit drier. But the rear tyres are done. Just got to do the fronts, and I'm going off the circuits. This is going to be an interesting race. I forgot what circuit it was on when we had the full wet race, and it was actually a pretty good race. I think it wasn't great. I don't know if it was Silverstone. I can't remember. I should go through really and look at all my old Formula 1 videos over the last...
The rain looks like it's going to be getting much lighter over the next 10 to 15 minutes. There should be more grip, but don't expect a dry track.
Yeah, like I was going to say, I need to go back and look through my videos of which one was the wet Grand Prix. Also, I think it was in Minecraft I talked about having my bloods and ECG done for my medication. I believe everything's gone okay, so yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what the doctor's going to say about my bloods when I get the results back. But the ECG went swimmingly. Perfect bit of health, really. So yeah, can't grumble. In Minecraft, in my next Minecraft video, which will be later on. If we post later on today, I should say. Try and get my words out. I am going into the Nether. It's going to be the first time going into the Nether on that seed, or on the world. And I don't know what to expect when I walk in, so yeah.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
So yeah, if you're a big fan of Minecraft, and yeah, just pop by and see the video. If not, it don't matter. I do commentary on there as well as this game. I don't do commentary on other games really. I need to do commentary on Predator. I need to do commentary on Gran Turismo Sport as well. But Gran Turismo Sport, I don't actually know what to talk about. And here's the race start. And I got wheel spin, I got wheel spin, and I got wheel spin on. I'm in overtake, but yeah.
Okay, we're monitoring somewhere on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
That's okay about the ICE. Right, I got the racing line, so I'm all good about that. Right, just ease it into the corners. Yeah, like I was going to say, I don't actually know what to talk about with Gran Turismo. So, yeah, any topics you want to talk about or want me to talk about in just random stuff, just put them in the comments below and I'll go through the best comments. And, yeah, I'll talk about that subject or what my thoughts are on any particular thing, like video games, TV programs, films, you know, including wrestling with AEW versus WWE. There's a lot of conversations I can have about that particular topic though, WWE and AEW, but yeah, I might talk about that when I'm doing a wrestling game actually. I'll do WWE 2K20, and I am still refusing to go and buy the latest WWE game because over the last 18 months WWE have let go of over 100 wrestlers, and there's been, I think there was about 20 released over the last month and a half. There's been more wrestlers being released by WWE, and their policy is it's because their age. How can the, you know, how can age be affected really? You know what I mean? If they're in their like late 30s and early 40s, how's that age? The age gap's bad at times. It's when they bring back people like Undertaker, who's in his 50s, Hogan, who's in his 70s. I looked earlier and YouTube, and Ric Flair.
We're accumulating some wear on the MGUK. To manage this, we'll need to lower our ERS deployment mode.
Yeah, it's like Ric Flair. He wants one more match, and he's in his 70s as well. It's crazy. I know AEW will benefit from Ric Flair's match, but you know what I mean, it's going to be slow paced, it's going to be 80s, early 90s style wrestling, the stuff that I used to grow up watching. So yeah, it's going to be good for me as I'm in my 30s, you know, and that's the wrestling I grew up watching. So I don't mind that, but people want fast paced, and yeah, I'd rather have a wrestling match that tells a story than have a 15-minute match that's gonna literally go nowhere. And that's why I'm a little bit put off with the WWE game, because the roster isn't as good as what it has been in the last couple of years. And it's like ice hockey. I've looked at the latest game. I think it's 22, and I ain't buying 22. Okay, it looks a bit more crisper, it looks a bit better graphics wise, but it's the same kits, same teams, just roster changes. I know I buy FIFA every year, but FIFA is a game that I like to play, and like I say, that game is something I do enjoy playing. But with the benefits of having create your own team now and the stadium editor, hopefully next year they'll let us build our own stadiums and benefit from there, because that would be even better. Because imagine that, building your own stadium.
Just a reminder, we are critical on fuel, probably a lap or so short. We don't need to risk a DNF chasing records, so think about starting to conserve fuel, maybe lifting earlier into the corners.
Yeah, like I was going to say though, having the ability to create your own stadium, a bit like how you could on LMA Manager 04, and how you could pick certain styles of stadium parts, like north stand, south stand, north and east stand. You can make it all look as one.
The underbody's taken a little damage. Watch out for it.
Yeah, like I was saying. So yeah, you could pick your own stadium parts.
Repeat that.
Which was
There's interference.
Less
Couldn't receive
talk.
that. Repeat the message.
Engineer, quiet.
Say again, you're breaking up.
Engineer, quiet.
Got that, confirmed.
Right, now without Jeff now in my ear, I feel a little bit better now. So yeah, like I was saying, so yeah, you could build your own stadiums in LMA Manager 04, which was fantastic. And it was brilliant. But I am looking forward to doing a lot more with FIFA over the next couple of months. Because my Rangers United career is going to be at least maybe 6 seasons. And that's going to go into probably about about March time. And then after March, what I might do is I might do a Football Manager-esque style of FIFA, where I use the sim matches, not quick sim, but sim where you can watch the player, the players go up and down the pitch. The only thing I will do though is jump in to do substitutions, and that's all I will do, and then I'll just jump back to sim, and whatever the game is, and that's the way I'm gonna go about it, because I think that might be entertaining to look at. I could do live commentary over that as well, because if I'm doing a match and I'm playing the match myself, I've got commentary on the pitch. And I don't really want to keep doing commentary over game commentary, because I think game commentary is slightly better than live com. So that's just my opinion. And like I say, I do swear as well on FIFA, because they say it's not scripted and it's basically fair play. It's not. It is scripted. And I can prove it's scripted by many games that I've played. Where it's like today I played against Gillingham, and yeah, the ball bounced off Buffon and went into the back of the net, and for me, that Buffon's an 80 rated goalkeeper and therefore should be able to stop a ball, but it literally bounces off him and goes into the back of the net. And I'm really frustrated with that, because I'm like, how can that be in the game? Okay, if you're a 51 rated goalkeeper, yeah, that's going to happen. And it will happen, because your ratings are low. But an 80 rated world class winning player who's won multiple trophies with Juventus, he won the Paris league title when he joined Paris Saint-Germain for that year alone. There's just so many things wrong with FIFA that I could list them out, but it's still a good game. It's better than the renamed PES, the mobile game, and everything else, because that is just ridiculous. But yeah, it's fascinating to see, and I'm trying to there we go, I was trying to get quickly around the circuit so I didn't have to worry too much. But yeah, I believe Edge from WWE might be going to AEW to join his mate Christian. So yeah, this is the problem with AEW. They are literally getting all the released wrestlers, and they're making a tremendous roster of not just male wrestlers but female wrestlers, and the quality is outstanding. I'm looking forward to the AEW game because they said it's going to be like SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, which was on PS2, which is still one of the best games to get on PS2. That and Here Comes the Pain. But yeah, WWE are it's Vince McMahon. That's who's killing the company. He's himself. Because he doesn't know how to book certain wrestlers. Like Aleister Black. He was up and coming. He looks amazing on the main roster. And yeah, it's just bizarre. And I'll talk about football and then I'll change subject to WWE. But like I say, there's not much more I can talk about FIFA. But WWE I can talk about a little bit more in depth now. But yeah. I have a notification pop up on my phone, and it's one of them videos where Edge might be going to do AEW. Good talking points. But yeah, like I say, go back to Aleister Black though. Vince McMahon said he didn't like his style of wrestling because it was like New Japan Pro Wrestling style moves. High flyer, quick feet, you know, and brilliance all the way around. And then WWE releasing. And since he's gone to AEW, he has shone really, really well. And yeah, I can see that with a lot of youth talents. NXT 2.0 is ridiculous. They need to have this paint splatter all over it. The black and gold brand looked amazing. And yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like I say, I can talk about a lot of subjects with certain things. But yeah. Like I say, I'll talk about a lot of stuff in certain areas. And I'll go back to one topic. Because like I say, WWE is a main subject and a main talking point and focus to talk about certain things that I think that Vince McMahon, like I say, is killing the company. He's stuck in the mid-90s and he doesn't know how to run his company no more. But yeah, I'll have your opinions on that if you do watch WWE and AEW and Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling or Stardom, which is the all-female Japanese company. There's one particular Japanese wrestler I like, and that's Jun Kasai, nicknamed Crazy Monkey. He does a lot of death matches, and Japan's death matches are really bloodthirsty, and yeah, it's true entertainment. It's high levels of risk with what they do in their matches, and I can't grumble. Oh, pardon me. So yeah, it's just one of them things that actually happens. It's like I say about Formula 1. I talked about this briefly yesterday, that I like Super Formula more than Formula 1 because it's the same car, just different engines, Toyota and Honda. And there's a lot of talent in Super Formula that I think is way better than Formula 1. And I got DRS failure, even though it's full wet. Well, not full wet, but you know, in full intermediate wet conditions. So, DRS is non-existent. So I don't quite know why I got that failure, because that is just bizarre. And I've saved a bit of fuel since the virtual safety car come out. Hopefully I'll get another VS, what's it, virtual safety? So the VSC. Yeah, so I hope I get another one of them. But yeah, no, that was annoying. Lost the back end again in that corner for some reason, don't know why. But yeah, don't know what to talk about now. I'm halfway through this, the Grand Prix. So yeah. There's a few I could talk about something now that I would love to do is do some what's the called? Oh my god, what's the word about that? Where you work with other YouTubers. There's a couple of people. Collaboration. Yeah, there's a few. There's Amy Lee I'd like to work with, Amy Lee 33. Because she is a superb Minecraft player, and her way of doing a story told gameplay with Minecraft, like a story of Amy, Max and Jinx. The second season of that's out, and the first one was Amy and Max, and then Jinx the Fairy came along, or whatever, she was supposed to be a pixie or something like that, and yeah, she came along in the first season. Yeah, she did really well with the Amy and Max series. And then she took a break from that series because she had to work on other stuff. And now she's back with a second series, and it's amazing. Superb, can't grumble. For some reason my controller disconnected and it's plugged in, so I don't get that. It's a wireless pad, but I plugged it in and it lost connection as it must be fully charged. I'll disconnect the wire, it's okay. I don't quite get that, but it's all good. Yeah, I like to collaborate with Amy Lee 33. There's also Stampy Longnose, or Stampy for short. I'd like to be one of his Minecraft helpers because it just looks so fun to work with him. Because his way of doing mini games and building stuff for the little, I'll say, city he's created. It's not really a town, it's more like a city. It's really good, but no, his Funland would be the best idea for me to work in, where I could help him build a mini game. That would be kind of cool with Fizzy Elephant and Polly Reindeer and William Beaver, because that would be superb. Be like the fifth helper. So if any of his helpers were busy and he couldn't record, at least then he could have me to rely on. Because I'm always on Minecraft. I'm always online. Like I say, I do 14 videos a day, sometimes 15, depending on if I want to do an extra video. Who else would I like to collaborate with? Aravat or Ben on Formula 1 would be superb. That would be kind of good if they could do Formula 1 cross-platform with PC, so I could actually jump on their online servers when they do online racing. Now that would be really good. What else? What else, or who else I should say. Who else would I want to join? I wouldn't mind playing against Matt's MGH, me versus him on FIFA. Now that would be kind of cool. Just do a couple of expedition matches with a couple of teams. So like if he wants to be Arsenal for one game, and I could be like Aston Villa or Wolves, you know, quite close to where I live. And then we'll go to the Championship and say I'd be West Brom and he could be whoever. League 1 I would be my favourite team, Shrewsbury. League 2 I'd be my hometown, which is Warsaw, and then yeah, it'd be quite cool to actually have 5 games of FIFA. Or is it on Premier League, Championship, League 1, League 2? Now 4 games of FIFA with the English leagues, and then go into like a Champions League game. And unfortunately I would pick Paris Saint-Germain because they are my all-time favourite French team, and I've liked PSG since 1997 when I saw them on FIFA. And 98 as well, played with them as FIFA, and I like Paris Saint-Germain. And it ain't just because they got Messi and Neymar and Mbappe. I liked them when they had, like I say, they had Maurice. the striker. Yeah, there was some good players like Laurent Leroy. Or it's called in English Leroy, but in French it's Leroy. Laurent Leroy, he was an amazing midfielder for PSG. And yeah, PSG back then wasn't as big as what they are today, and that's what I liked about PSG. They came from mid-table to be the best in the world because they built. It's like Man United. It's like Sir Alex with Man U. He built them from the ground up, and he made Man United of what they are today. And I know they've gone through a lot of managers, Man United have, and you know they ain't had the same success as Sir Alex. But that's because the board don't stick with the managers these days. And Sir Alex had the backing of every board that he did. He sat around and he said, I ain't going to win nothing this year, but next year I'll win it all. And that's what he did. He built for the following season. Every year he didn't win. Every year he couldn't win a trophy. He built a team to win it the following year. And that's what Sir Alex did, and the board stuck with him because they knew he would do it. Arsene Wenger at Arsenal, always in European football. You know, he leaves, he retires from management, and then the team goes down the pan. And it was like that with Everton. David Moyes, he was long serving at Everton before he joined Man U to replace Sir Alex. And yeah, if Moyes would have stayed at Everton, he would then be the longest serving manager in the English league because he would have been with Everton for over 10 years. And that's what you want from a manager. You want the board to back you, so you know that you can get there and you can do it. It's like Dean Smith being sacked from Aston Villa for 5 losses in a row. That's as worse as Leeds United's manager being sacked at the first game of the season when they got promoted to the Premier League, played Liverpool and lost. And then they sacked the manager straight after the match. You've just won the Championship, coming up to the Premier League and you play the Premier League champions. It's crazy. It really is, but with Smithy joining Norwich, hopefully Delia Smith, the chairwoman, will stick with Dean Smith for at least 3 seasons and see how they progress that way. Because Smithy's done it all. I'll tell you now, he's been Walsall manager. He got Walsall promoted a couple of times. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, he got Walsall promoted a couple of times. And then he left to join Brentford. Because Walsall was in League One at the time. He goes and joins Brentford in the Championship. Gets them mid-table, gets them near enough promoted. Same time Villa sacked Steve Bruce. Smithy joined his childhood team that he supported and played for, was Villa. Manages them, get them promoted, gets them out of the relegation battle, mid-table, and then he gets sacked. Which to me is just ridiculous. Because, unfortunately, Smithy has done it, like I say, he's done it all from League 2 to League 1, Championship to Premier League. And he has earned his titles of promotion on merit and being a manager and a half. And I feel like it's a letdown that Villa did that. Just because you lose 5 games in a row doesn't mean that you should be losing your job. Now if you lost 15 in a row, then I would say, yeah, come on, you know what I mean, you lost 15 in a row. But what's 5 matches in a row? It's like this, it's going back to Steve Bruce actually. Being sacked from Newcastle because they kept losing games. The sack Bruce, he gets a £4 million payout clause, you know, compensation clause for being sacked. Whoever's took over now, caretaker manager, he's lost many games in a row. And sorry to say, Newcastle will be relegated if they don't spend money in January, in the January market, because it is Newcastle don't deserve to go down. They've got a decentish team. But they're not playing, they're not gelling, and we don't know why. And I like Newcastle to some degree, because they're a team and a half when they play well. In the mid-90s, they were a team and a half that was always in the top 6. And of course, as players get older and you buy players in, you sell players like everything. You know, your team don't gel properly, and you got to give them a couple of seasons. It's like when Man City tried to buy the league back in 2012. It was just, they had the money and they spent it ridiculously. And I've won the race. That was a pretty good race in the wet. GG. But yeah, Newcastle. I hope they can finish at least mid-table, or at least bottom of the mid-table.
So after a day of mixed fortunes up and down the field, we bring today's race to a close. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Lee increases their championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Let's give it to Esteban Ocon. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. It's looking like the championship is already... You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you? There's quite a buzz around it. Did you feel comfortable in the wet weather today? Great. Well, that's everything.
activities, what do we do? And let's do podium celebration. 5,000 R&D points. Anything else? I know that's looking weird. I've got 2 parts there. That one's slowly going up. Gearbox, that's okay. No, I've got 1 free gearbox I can bring in. Nearly close to 15. Do you know what? Let's have resource points coming in. Do you know what? I'm going to spend that for now. That makes me get into just under 5 mil. That's fine. There's still plenty of races to go. 2, 4, 6, 7 races to go. So that's more than enough R&D points to come in and resource points. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting race at Singapore. Anyway, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the bell for notifications. I do post regular content. And until the next one, I'll see you all later. Bye.